Tell me, just in the room, just for a second, how many ladies do we have in the room? Just pop your hands up, ladies. How many ladies in the room? Every single lady in the room, put your hand up. 1, 2, 3, okay. Let's just look at another piece of video. That's amazing. If I wanted to get some of these over to England, would you be able to send some to England?
Yes.
I have about 2,500 ladies that I'm meeting soon. Would you be able to produce 2,500 of these to send to England?
1,000 flowers.
2,500 flowers.
2,500.
Yeah, of these. And send to England. Would you be able to do that?
Yeah, is this all right?
Hey.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I think this would be great. I'm meeting 2,500 ladies, and it would be so great to hand these out to them.
Yeah, it's all right.
We can do this?
Yes, it's all right.
Great. Good.
It's all right, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
Ladies, that man has been working tirelessly, morning, noon, and night. He's been down to the rubbish dump picking up old tin cans. And he has fashioned for every one of you in the room, every lady in the room, a flower. Could my team hand out some flowers just to the ladies, please? Thank you. Don't thank me, thank Golden. Golden has been working tirelessly. You have no idea how much production goes into 2,500 flowers when you've got to cut them all by hand in the way that he's done. You know, I get all these whining, whinging people that I told you about yesterday who get all grumpy and they send you whining emails. And then you look at Golden's situation. Here's a man making money out of nothing and keeping his family. He's a very proud man. He runs a great little business. And I thought the best way I could help him was to give him the biggest order he's ever had in his life. That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, there's a guy who feeds his entire family, who's changed the lives of his family just because he followed a dream, and he now takes old, you know, like Coke cans and things that he finds in the rubbish dumps, and he makes flowers. And I mean, I now have students of mine that, you know, that regularly keep in touch, that came to the boot camp, saying, I've got my flower, you know,
on my desk because it reminds me that there's nothing that I can't do. If that guy can make money out of old tin cans, there is nothing, particularly with the system that I'm teaching you here today, there is nothing I can't do when you compare to that guy there making money out of nothing. Also, when I was over in South Africa, and again I showed some footage of this at the boot camp, I also worked with a couple of lady entrepreneurs there who've set up very different types of businesses, and I wanted to show you a little kind of documentary piece that we put together to follow up on those, which again I hope will just give you an insight into what I'm about and some of the work that I've been doing with some of the money that I've managed to pull in thanks to the Cash on Demand course. So let's just take a look at this particularly moving piece of footage. 9 months have passed since I was in South Africa last. 9 crazy months during which, back in the UK, I'd organised and hosted the largest boot camp for entrepreneurs at London's iconic O2 Arena. Every time I go to O2, it's my God, you know, we're going in here, you know. We're sharing the same stage as Kylie. I've done a couple of boot camps so far, and I've stood up backstage, and I haven't been too nervous when I was going on. And this time I was so nervous just before I went on. And you see that door, and it kind of rises up, and you think, oh my God, here we go. And the noise and the kind of atmosphere with they've got these big bass speakers under the stage, making loads of noise, and it's absolutely fantastic. And the audience, right from the beginning, were really behind what we're trying to do, and we had a great day.
Don't dreams come true when you come to a thing like this?
It was a milestone event for me, and it marked the culmination of a 12-year personal and financial journey. I've always had this thing that if I ever made a success of a life, financially, if I ever became independently wealthy, that I would do something with the money rather than just frittering it away. I mean, it sounds a bit trite, but that's where I am. At the O2, I tried to share just some of the things I'd seen in South Africa 9 months ago.
I was recently in South Africa. Yesterday they showed a couple of little snippets. I've been over there involved in a couple of projects, and I thought just before we start today, you might like to just have a look and see what I've been involved in. Would you like to take a look at that? Let's take a look at some video.
My visit was like a tale of two cities. From the bustling tower blocks of the business district of Cape Town, my guide drove me to see another town called Khayelitsha, which means in English, new home. Now, I'd been to the outskirts of Khayelitsha briefly last year, but I'd never imagined the scale of it and the conditions in which over 1 million people found themselves living. I found it hard to comprehend that this was not some temporary camp set up in a disaster relief zone, but an established township that had seen people living like this for the last 25 years since this township was set up. 25 years of living in tiny houses made from any scrap materials they could get their hands on, often with families of maybe 4, 6, 8, 10, maybe more, living in a tiny shack made of old corrugated tin and scraps of wood. Every day, families queuing to use the communal taps or maybe the communal toilets. Over half the population of Khayelitsha is without work, and I was struck by the hopelessness of the groups of men who'd wait in line on street corners each and every day, hoping that someone would come along and offer them a day's labouring or some casual work. Nelson Mandela said that the way out of the townships was through education, and of course he was right. But what I found in Khayelitsha was that it's entrepreneurship that's been raising people out of poverty. Ordinary people with extraordinary determination to better their lives and the lives of their families. People like Vicky, who against all odds has built a little business in Khayelitsha.
We're having our children, they are growing up in shacks. That means their children will be growing up in shacks if we don't act soon. And they will think that by being black, you are supposed to live in shacks. That's what we're trying to avoid.
Vicky had got her whole community together to tear down their shacks and replace them with proper, brick-built, solid houses. Her whole street had embarked on an ambitious project to to totally replace all of their shacks, starting with 20 brand new homes. Residents moved out of their shacks into makeshift accommodation, often with 6 members of a family sharing one tiny temporary room. Then they started the process of tearing down the old shacks and replacing them with brand new buildings. They poured their own concrete, they dug the foundations by hand, and by the time I arrived they'd reached roof level. But they'd hit a problem. Promised funding from the government had not been forthcoming and was likely to be another 2 years. With winter coming on and no money to put on the roofs, the project had come to a grinding halt as the community faced a winter without homes.
So if you had the funding, would you be able to get the roofs on before the winter came in?
Yes.
Would you let me help you with the roofs? Would that help if we send you the money for the 20 roofs?
I will be very, very happy.
Would be good.
Oh. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
We'll send the money over next week to you, so you can get on with the roofs.
Now I found myself back in South Africa again, on a journey to see how my new friends were getting on. As we drove through the streets of shacks and I was reminded again of the conditions that over 1 million people live in day after day, I couldn't help feeling that nothing was changing, that the scale of the problem was so vast that nothing would change. Then we turned the corner into the road where I'd met Vicky just 9 months earlier. And when I arrived, you could almost feel the sense of purpose as the community worked to finish their houses.
Good morning, everybody. Wow,
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
This is looking great.
You are welcomed again.
You got flu?
I do. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Vicky had flu but still wanted to come and meet me and talk through the progress they've been making.
By the end of the day, they'll be finished. With the paint, they'll be painting these complete ones today.
Yeah.
Then they will.
She then told me about a get-together that she'd arranged with some of the community who'd be benefiting from the houses. I had no idea what I was in for. It was quite overwhelming, and I was honoured. The community had prepared a day of songs, speeches and prayers.
Thank you.
I would like to thank the main man of the day, Mr. Andrew Reynolds. There are no words that could clearly describe the way I feel at the moment. And what you've done is amazing. The program director has already said that not many people are able to do what you did. You came here, you listened to what I told you. I showed you those structures, and you told me that you promised, you didn't tell me, you promised that, Vic, I'm gonna go back home, but I'm gonna do something. I've been having many promises regarding these structures, but none of them was ever fulfilled until I got a call saying that you have transferred the money into my account. And that was the happiest moment of my life, because I told myself that God is working in wonders. We may have a different skin color, but the blood that runs through your veins is the same blood that runs into my veins. We didn't choose our background. We didn't choose to be where we are, but we have a choice to choose our destiny. There are not enough words to express the way that I feel, but today you made my day.
Wow. I just came to see how the houses are getting on. I wasn't expecting this at all. Amazing. Thank you very much. I feel really honoured and I guess humbled to be here today. I came here as a tourist back in, I think, March. I met a lovely lady called Beauty. And then Roddy introduced me to this other lady called Vicky. Oh my God. Just I think the warmth that came across when you introduced me to your family, and as one entrepreneur to another, I could see some common ground. And you had this absolute faith and belief that these houses were going to get built. And it was almost, it felt like there was some reason why I was the tourist on that bus coming here, because I used to be in the house building industry back in the UK. So I know a bit about building houses. And what are the chances of you guys needing somebody from, somebody that has the finance to help you with these things, who understands. I mean, Vicky showed me all the plans for the houses and the 2 bedrooms and the 3 bedrooms. Somebody that understands the plans and somebody understands the figures and knows what needs to be done. What are the chances of those 2 things coming together in Site C? That's amazing. So your faith, and you, ma'am, come here. You're an amazing lady. It's been an absolute privilege to work with you and to do this for you, and I wish you every success with the project. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
They are now nearly under shelter now. Through your hands, through your spirits. God fulfills himself in many ways. God sent you over. I'm more pleased than ever. This girl approached many overseas, but they were not chosen. There's one man that chooses the people to help other people. And God.
The speech is over. The group then wanted to take me on a little tour through the new houses. The following day, I called in on the soup kitchen run by Rosie.
Rosie.
Hello.
How are you? Last time I was here, I was amazed to meet Rosie and her sister, who get up at 5 a.m. 7 days a week to prepare breakfast and to cook midday and evening meals for up to 400 children every single day. But Rosie had no state help. She did everything herself. A charity had been sending the raw foodstuffs for her to cook, but funding had dried up.
you said if you don't get the funding, then the kids are going to go hungry, and that's...
How can I tell the little child that there is no food today because there was no food to cook? So the child won't understand you, so that is my biggest problem and worry.
Obviously you've only just met, but perhaps I could help you with towards the cost of the food. If we were able to send you some money over, would you be able to use that?
We always need food.
Would it help if we arranged to send you 10,000 rand a month? Would that help you?
Wow. It will.
Would that help you?
It will. You put the smiles on children's faces.
Put a smile on your face as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So what are we going to do today? We're going to do some cooking and feed these guys.
We already cooked some food.
You cooked it?
You're gonna make some. Maybe we can make some soup.
I'm going to make some soup.
You can do that.
Right, yeah. Never one to turn down help, Rosie found me an apron and put me to work serving food to some of the children.
It's fine.
Free?
Yes.
Rosie explained how she felt when the charity that used to send food for the kitchen dried up, and she had to turn the children away at mealtimes as she had no food.
I used to hide myself from them when there is no food in the kitchen, and let my helper say that there is no food in the kitchen, because children would look at me smiling, hoping that I will say it was a joke, there will be food for you. So if there is no food, it was very difficult.
Rosie now feeds hundreds of children a day. Each child brings a small container and she serves them their meals to take with them. Having served the midday meals, it was time to get to work preparing soup for later for some of the unemployed guys from her street. How much am I putting in?
I will tell you, just
Okay.
pour until up, because it will just boil and we put
Yeah.
some soup. You can stop now.
Great.
Thank you.
So I came to Kalicha to get cookery lessons.
I will never forget you, know. I never thought this was for real. I've met so many people. They promise to help, and when they go home, I know it's a long way.
Kind of tourists. And...
So when they go home, they forget. So I can't blame them. It's a long way home.
Well, I'm glad it arrived.
It made
you
a
know.
huge difference, a huge one. In this busy world, it's so refreshing to find that there is someone who still care, who still have, still know that the more you give, the more you receive.
How is it? Is it good?
Very good, very good.
This English soup.
It's English. Yeah, it's very nice. It's hot.
Rosie does so much for her community, preparing hundreds of meals each and every day. But on my visit, she told me how she's also trying to help the kids by teaching them how to use a computer.
They must be introduced to the computer, because in our schools around this community, the schools are not having computers until the child have to go to a multiracial school.
Yeah.
So that is very difficult for our children. So now I can see, I thought some of them will tell you that we can write on the computer and we can do that and that. And for me, I feel very happy, because on Saturdays we always teach the children about HIV and AIDS.
Yeah.
So after that we can go to a computer, sit there, and we learn so many things.
Where do you do that? You're doing it here? In your house?
In my house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rosie took me across the road to her house to show me the computers she's been using to teach the young children from her area. And what sort of age are the kids that are learning?
Now I'm still having 7 to 16 for the moment. So I can see that they are catching up very quickly.
So so you're really going to try and pull people, get all the kids that are eating at the kitchen to come up here then and just do a bigger group?
Yeah.
So you really need more equipment, really?
I think we need more. I was not thinking about it, but I just thought that if maybe we can have 2 while others are still waiting, because we only have to teach 2 children at one time. So After that, we have to say go, we take
Yeah.
another ones. So maybe if we have 2 computers, we can have 4 children at the same time.
Maybe if we got you kind of laptop computers that you could just put on that table and then pack away in a cupboard afterwards.
Oh, yes.
That would work, wouldn't it?
It can work.
Just little small ones. Well, if we send over some money so that you can get another maybe 3 computers, three laptops,
We'll be
we'll
very
deliver the
happy.
computers in so you got them for the new year. And then you can get started, you know?
Oh, sorry.
But, right, now there's something else. I've just been helping you in that kitchen and you're doing that 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been running my kitchen for 20 years now.
How many holidays have you had in that
I
time?
never have any holidays. 5 years now. I never.
Rosie, you can't.
I'm exhausted.
You can't keep going. Come on. Okay. How long could you get away for? How long would you get cover for if you went?
I can go for a week, maybe.
You went 2 weeks maybe?
Two
You
weeks,
need
maybe.
some rest. Come on.
Yeah, I'm very tired. I am very tired, but I'm always giving myself to these children, so it's not that I don't want to go home, and I really want to go home, but I can't.
Well, you have
honestly.
to. You have to do it. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to arrange for you to go on holiday.
Oh,
For 2 weeks.
oh,
Is that okay? As long as you can get some cover.
yes, I need to promise.
As long as you can get somebody just to cover for you. We'll arrange the trip for you.
Oh,
Because you have to get some rest. You have to look after yourself. Otherwise, you can't help these people if you're not well. You have to. You have to.
My mind is also tired.
I know.
thank you. God bless you.
As we drove out of Kalitcha and left the rickety makeshift shacks behind, I was reminded of Vicky's words. We didn't choose our background, we didn't choose to be where we are, but we do have a choice to choose our destiny.